Hello and happy Friday and welcome to another one of these things. I hope you're all well. Without going any more into my own private world, I'm going to put the black sands of time on and I'm going to address everything in the form of answers. And that means I can talk about anything, whatever the question is. That's why I like doing this. I'm joined here by producer Phil, and he's just said hello and sent me this question from Carrie, which is, "Hi Ginger, hi Carrie. Something I've always wanted to know. I'd be so grateful if you would please answer. Be my pleasure. You're backstage at a huge festival with loads of big bands who you haven't met before. How do other bands introduce themselves? People like Slash, James Hetfield, Steven Tyler, Bruce Dickinson at all presume that other bands know who they are? Or do they introduce themselves as normal people, or do band managers make the introduction? Can I also ask if you've ever encountered one of those types when you're not allowed to look at them in the eye? And how did you react to that?" This will be fun. Take my glasses off for this one. Yeah, we met one of those you can't look them in the eye. Well, we were told by their management that R. Kelly, I'd never even heard of fucking R. Kelly. This is in the 90s, so he's probably huge and I just know nothing. But we were in a studio, I think it was Norma's studio, somewhere in London, round about that area. And they said, R. Kelly's coming in and you're not allowed to look him in the eye. Ideally, you're not allowed to be in the studio at all. And you know, this is the Wild Hearts at a time where we didn't really take much notice of anyone who in an assumed position of authority. So as soon as the limousines all pulled up and everything, not only were we still in the studio, but we were in the fucking foyer, standing in the middle of the foyer, waiting for someone to tell us that we couldn't, and we didn't know what he looked like. So there's just a bunch of big black guys walked in, so we were just looking at everyone in the eye, hoping that we got R. Kelly. I'm still not sure what the cunt looks like, but that was funny. That was funny. Telling the Wild Horse not to do something, we're just, you know, bless them. They tried, but it was never going to work. The backstage thing, you normally find that the most friendly people in bands are the ones that are quite big. And if someone's in a band and they want to meet you, they'll just come up and say hello. They'll just come, you know, knock on the dressing room door. They never, very, very seldom ever had anyone use an intermediate person to make the introduction. They'll just come straight up. I guess they're just used to meeting people. But there was one festival where it happened that it was the bass player in Status Quo, Rhino something. I was a big fan of the Frantic Four. I really like Alan Lancaster as a bass player. And when Rhino joined, I didn't really like him. I didn't like he had a headless bass. He moved funny for a Status Quo, who was supposed to just put their legs apart and get down to it. And I didn't take to the guy. I didn't really think much of him. And then we were doing a festival with them. And their manager came up and he went, "Rhino would like to have a word with you." And I'm like, it's the fella from Status Quo I don't like. This has happened to me a few times. If I've had some, which is why it doesn't warrant having any preconceived idea of how anyone or anything is. Just approach it with an open heart. So I went, I'll say hello to him. And apart from, he was fucking lovely. Absolutely, you know, just salt of the earth kind of human being. But he wanted to tell me that him and his son were big fans of the group, and he taught his son to swear by getting in the car, because obviously he had to get away from the missus. So him and his son would get in the car and they'd sing "Shut Your Fucking Mouth and Use Your Fucking Brain" driving round the streets. How can you not like a fella that comes up with something like that? And of course I told him that's exactly what I used to do with my kids when they wanted a good swear. Get in the car and we'll have a good swear with your dad, as long as it's to music. And so that was one of them. But yeah, I find that when you're doing festivals, if someone wants to come and talk to you, they'll just come and talk to you. And I used to be really nervous about going and talking to people before. I don't know why. Probably self-confidence or something. But I now realise that they're all just doing a job. And the ones that are doing really well, the bigger stars, have been doing the job probably longer, definitely harder than anyone. So they're the most amenable people in the world. And I can't think of anyone that I wanted to go up and talk to that haven't been nice. Been a few that have obviously been a little bit wary of the Wild Arts reputation, and I don't blame them. And we still get that. Our reputation really does go about 5 miles in front of us every time. I've just got in touch with about 20 different managers, and 2 of them had the decency to reply. And I get it. It's probably the reputation that's putting them off. I don't want to reply because you're a psychopath and justifiably so. From Ree, the next question is, hi Ginger, you have to go on a talk show to promote the new album. You can't get out of it, and you can choose Jonathan Ross, Graham Norton, or Piers Morgan. Who would you go for and why? Jonathan Ross, probably, because he's funny. Graham Norton is funny, but he doesn't tend to let people talk very much. But Graham Norton has the couch. I don't watch a lot of television, but I do watch clips on YouTube and stuff. And he usually has a couch with one or two huge celebrities on there, where I think Jonathan Ross does them all separately. So Graham Norton would be fun, but Jonathan Ross would probably be funnier. And I think he's, at the base of it, Jonathan Ross I feel is a decent guy. He did that thing with Andrew Sachs's granddaughter, who I know, and involving Russell Brand. Thankfully, I don't know. Who, you'll not believe this. Fucking Russell Brand's management got in touch with me and asked me to go on Russell Brand's show. And I was like, how can you say fuck off with more gusto than just merely fuck off, or even fuck off you cunt? How can you say, I'll just settle with no? And the same would be with Piers Morgan. Nothing but contempt for that man. He's an absolute scumbag of the highest order, in the same soggy, oily gene pool as people like Russell Brand and Andrew Tate and all that lot. So yeah, I would choose Jonathan Ross or Graham Norton based on who Graham Norton's guests were. That would be my answer to that. Andrea Smith asks, hi Ginger, loving the podcast. Oh, good. I'm so glad. I'm so glad when everyone says that they're loving the podcast, because, we enjoy doing them, but there's a lot of work goes into this. I mean, I know I devote my time to doing them, and it's an absolute pleasure to do it, but producer Phil works tirelessly, about 5 times at least harder than I do. So he's here when we're putting these down, and then he goes away and he spends hours editing these things together. So we're both really, really happy, aren't we, producer Phil?
Exceptionally so.
Really happy that you enjoy it. Keep telling us, because it never gets boring. The question is, if you met someone new and they asked you to tell them about yourself, what would you say? And secondly, how would you describe your music to them? How would I describe myself? I'd say I'm a work in progress. I'm learning as I go, but I really do want to learn. I really do. I want to devote my whole life to finding the truth. And so far, so good. Even in the last 18 months, I've learned so much more than I used to believe was true. And in the next 18 months, I plan on learning a lot more, especially about the non-physical world. And I will let you know how I go with that. I won't go into it too much at the beginning of it, because I don't want to sound like I'm not jinxing it, but I don't want to sound like get too gaga about it all. I'm taking it very seriously. And my search for knowledge is the meaning of my life. I would tell them that I'm trying my best to learn what it is to be a human being, and a good human being. How would I describe my music? Fucking hell. I would just say, like, putting all your favourite sweets in your mouth at the same time. Probably seems like a better idea than it is, but I just say, I meet a few people, especially around here, with the farmers and stuff. They don't fucking know who I am or care. And good thing. So they say, what kind of music do you do? And I'm like, what kind of music do you like? And invariably they'll say something that I've kind of touched upon in my music. So I'll say, oh, you like country? Check this album. So I'll probably introduce my music based on what their tastes were. Otherwise, they're just definitely going to get overwhelmed and definitely not going to like it, because they're probably going to just dive in head first and pick something like Mutation and just go, well, I don't like that. It's a load of noise. And they'd be right, of course, but not all of it is a load of noise. It's funny, I was thinking about this the other day, about the amount of music I've made, and thinking it's a very strange thing to have tackled as many different genres of music as I have, whether they've been successful or successfully negotiated or not. It's been great, but yeah, looking back, it's a very confusing story, and I plan on keeping it that way. But yeah, that's how I describe my music. What do you like? Oh, we've got that in store. Pete Edkins asks, hi Ginger, I would like to know if all the gas info is backed up or is it still online. Anyway, this is where I've got to kind of come clean. I thought people knew I wasn't part of the admin or the technical side of what I do. Even from recording, I work with experts in the recording field. So if someone says, what DB is that on, or what, and I'm like, I don't know. I haven't got a clue if anything's backed up. We just had this big thing about the CDs, getting the CDs for It Came From the North, and people are asking, well, don't you have the database? I don't do databases. I do the music, and that's all that I do. And the rest of people that I employ is admin or technical stuff or managerial duties or whatever. I haven't got a clue if anything's backed up or not. I don't even know if it's online. Although someone did mention recently that they were reading some of the old, oh God, which I don't advise you do, some of the old diary entries. And again, just, approach these carefully because it's not pretty, and I was going through a lot of mental problems at the time, and it all went down, and it's probably still there. And again, I'm not the sort of person that's going to go back and edit it, try and make myself look good. That was part of my journey, and it was a difficult part, but it was a definite part. Why bother hiding it? But I do believe that it is online. I don't know how you access it. I don't know if you've got to pay to join anymore. It's not my world. I'm strictly the music, and in the case of these CDs, I'm just like, I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't have this hanging around my neck. So in a frenzied panic, I decided to sort it all out, and it is getting sorted out. And people's needs are being addressed, and their CDs are already arriving at their doorstep, thanks to Jane Graley, who's working tirelessly to get all of these things put out, because we've been working with a lot of different people who've been telling us that it's been getting sorted out, and it hasn't been getting sorted out. That's the kind of language people use these days, is just not even lies, just pretending. As long as the pretense is working, a lot of people see that as being, well, that's good enough. It comes down to standards. And my standards have always been very high, but I've always also been a little bit fearful of getting involved. I've liked to delegate a little bit too much, but I'm at the point now in my life where if there's something that isn't sitting right with me, I have a system of standards that are going to mean that I've got to get involved in it, because I can't have little things going wrong or little things feeling bad and restricting the movement forward. So getting rid of all of these little problems is a very, very big part of it. But yeah, I don't know if the gas stuff is still online. I presume it is, because does anything die on the internet? I mean, I presume that nothing is ever lost on the internet. It's all there somewhere. But yeah, happy searching, Pete. And Kate with a Y, Kayte, Katie. But hi, lovely. Hi, Katie. Can I ask if you are seeing anyone at the moment? Oh, Katie, no, I'm not. I'll tell you for why. Probably my biggest fear in life was being alone, and so I've always been in relationships. I've never been the sort of person that is fucked around either. So you won't meet a lot of people like groupies and stuff that have been with me, because I've always been in a relationship. It's been one of those things where I've been terrified of addressing, and so it was the big one. I'm going to have to look at that one at some point. So I came away to the middle of nowhere with my dog, and there's me and my dog live here and have done for 18 months. It'll be 2 years in November, to face up to, who are you? Are you even worth loving? And to be honest, I look back and go, no, maybe 50% of me was worth loving, and there was 50% that definitely needed a lot of work. And I've done a lot of work, and I find myself now in a position where, working on mind, body and spirit, I'm pretty good with myself right now. I'm feeling like I've come a long way. I'm really seeing and feeling the benefits. So I'm probably the sort of person that I would trust myself to fall in love with. And also it means I'm gonna have pretty fucking high standards when it comes to it. So between my ridiculous standards, wanting someone who takes himself as seriously as I take myself these days, someone with just the same mind, body and spirit kind of concentration, the same importance, same standards. So basically I'm in the middle of nowhere. I only ever meet people when I go out to work, and there's usually some pretty girl in the audience that by the time you get off stage, she's going to be gone. So I don't tend to meet very many people of the kind of persuasion of a potential partner. This, I feel, is going to change. I can always feel when something's coming, whether it's getting fit. And I knew I was going to get fit long before I was fit. And it was an uphill struggle, but I knew that I wasn't going to stop until I got to the place where I thought, right now I'm there. And I've learned so much about fitness from doing that, from approaching it like that, and realizing that I don't go upstairs on the weights and I don't go out for walks because I'm going to come back downstairs or come back and be fit as fuck or be buff. I go there as a challenge to my mind. My mind doesn't want to do it. It's raining outside. Them things are heavy up there. I don't want to do it. I want to watch something on the telly, watch a film or something. And I'm like, okay, that's why we're going up there and we're going to do it. And that mind control has been why I find myself feeling pretty fucking good and strong these days, because it starts with mind control. And then once you start building on that, your body gets stronger, obviously. And I feel the same why I'm not with someone at the moment is because I haven't really been the sort of person that I would trust myself in a relationship with someone who's going to be as awesome as the person that I'm going to meet. And also, I only need one person. I am going to meet a lot of people coming up, and I'm just looking for one person. So it's not like the odds are in my favour. I'm probably going to meet one person with a nice, kind heart who loves animals and nature and believes in being good. So yeah, I can see it happen. Whether I'm manifesting it or the universe is telling me that it's on its way, I've got a feeling that part of the next process that I'm going to deal with. And I feel like I'm past phase 1 right now in my development, mind, body and spirit. And I'm about to enter phase 2. And yeah, I'm starting to get little snippets of information about what phase 2 is going to entail, and one of them is going to be a partner. So woe betide you, whoever you are, because you better be fucking awesome. Wild Smurf, whose name's obviously Murph or Murphy, because Smurf is spelt with a PH. Hey, Wild Smurf. Hi, Ginger, you mentioned it's difficult to know which songs will go down well live. Were you surprised how the Wild Arts community fell in love with 29 Times the Pain, which was a B-side? Yeah, fucking really. I'm always surprised at the songs that work live, because I don't write songs to play live. I write, if I come up with a riff and I go, oh, that's going to be great, but it's not like I've written a song that's going to go down great. So sometimes I have a song with a great riff and the song dies a death. For me, Nita Nitro's like that. Great riff, but the song just fucking seems flat. I'm usually the last person to know, whether it's Jim Pinder in the studio telling me that one's going to be a live smash, and I'm like, oh, fuck, really? Jesus, I've got to sing all them words. Or it'll be the audience who just hears something and it goes woof. And there's a lot of times where I'll play songs live that I think are going to work. One of them was Maintain Radio Silence. I thought that was going to be a live killer, and it kind of wasn't. But Troubadour Moon, it just goes down great every time we play it. So yeah, I'm the last to know. So I'm always surprised when songs go down well live, because it's you lot telling me that I'm full of shit. And I like that. I like when you do that. So Wild Smurf, that's the answer. Fungal Bill, fucking name, brilliant. On Frankenstein 2000, the outro words that are sung in the background sound very similar to those in 29 Times the Pain, which is this intentional. What's Frankenstein 2000? It's one of mine, I take it. And I've wrote a lot of songs in my time. Is it one of the songs that...
Bonus demos.
Oh,
Frankenstein 2000 / Without Emotion.
Wow, I haven't got a clue what that one goes like, to be honest. Oh, yes. I can't remember what it goes on at the end. But yeah, that was written about... It was originally called Summertime when I wrote it. And then I was asked to write a song for Alice Cooper, and I thought, Summertime's not going to really convince Alice Cooper to do this. I'll write it Frankenstein 2000, which I think Frankenstein 2000 was a Japanese horror film made in, I think, the 70s. There was some reference there. I thought, Alice will get that. He knows his horror. And I don't remember the song. I remember the sentiment of it. The clock on the wall, it hasn't moved since the time you called. I remember that feeling when I wrote those lines, but I don't remember what I'm saying at the end of it. So I don't know. Unfortunately, Fungal Bill, I hate to not know the answer to something, but I don't know what the words in the background to Frankenstein 2000 or? But if it reminds you of 29 Times the Pain, then I guess the answer is yes. I don't know. Who knows? Jace asks, Ginger, what's something you've never done that you'd love to do? Get me teeth fixed. Oh, all I want is to get these fucking teeth fixed. I need to meet a dentist who fixes teeth, because I've been to so many dentists and they go, oh, we're not going to touch them. So I reckon there's going to have to be a dentist in California, because they will do that. I ain't going to fucking Turkey to get them done. But yeah, at some point, that's something I've always wanted to do, and I fucking, to this day, will be so happy when I get them done. Just because, years of singing on stage and microphones bashing into you, I reckon anyone who plays the guitar and sings into a mic stand has fucked up teeth. Unless you're really boring, because your crowd's going to stop. The things move on a stage, you know what I mean? Especially some stages, they seem to be made out of fucking rubber. And this thing bashes against your teeth. And even if it's just wear and tear over many, many years, your teeth are going to come off worse than any other part of your body if you're a guitar slinging, singing fella in the middle of a stage stuck to a microphone stand. I'd like to get my teeth fixed.